I wouldn't mention AI, artificial intelligence, which is taking larger and larger part in our day-to-day lives. So we at Visa, we consider ourselves sort of one of the pioneers in using the artificial intelligence. We started back 30 years. Obviously, back then it wasn't the generative type of it, but still we have a long kind of history, great experience of using artificial intelligence in fraud prevention, in risk management. And today, we see that artificial intelligence will define not just the security and fraud management part, but also the personalization part, the consumer experience part. And we're speaking more and more about the agentic commerce, which we believe will be the next stage of development of the way how we shop, how we search for things, and how we buy. And that's a big topic we will be working together with partner banks here in Kazakhstan to introduce. Another interesting thing we're seeing, and you can tell definitely by the audience in this room, that generation shift is clearly changing the way people now shop, bank, live, basically. Generation Z, Gen Z, as we call them, which is a great number of these people are happily here in the room. They are coming into the financial age. They start to be economically active, and this is really what changes the way we all live, shop, and bank and buy again. Because 2/3 of the people under 35 are doing their banking and shopping on mobile exclusively. And therefore, with businesses, micro businesses, small businesses, big businesses, banks, Visa, we all should be ready to make sure we are capable to providing them with the level of digitalization they've been born with, basically. And I'm happy to say here that Kazakhstan is clearly one of the leading countries on that side as well, because Kazakhstan's infrastructure is fully ready to provide these younger consumers with all these benefits of digitalization. So there are many more interesting trends I would like to go on with, but I'm mindful of time, so I'll pause here.
That's great, and it's a really good summary of the role in which technologies play in accelerating digitalization and opening up different forms of commerce for businesses of all types. And clearly there's tremendous progress that's been made in technology and also in terms of entrepreneurship for women business leaders. But there's still challenges and obstacles out there, I'm sure. I know you've spent a lot of time with small business owners. What are some of the areas which you think still hinder progress and success for many women setting up their businesses and starting out?
That's a great question, because basically answering this question means setting up a plan, a roadmap, what should be done in Kazakhstan as a country, in Central Asia as a region, to make sure that success that is always already there. And it was mentioned by Kunsulu and Dan as well, that in Kazakhstan, we can say half of micro and small businesses is run or set up or led by women. It's 48%. It's an amazing result indeed. Yet we understand that to make sure that micro and small businesses led by women as a backbone of the economical development receives all the support they need. Of course, before you start to heal something, you need to understand what is actually the problem, what pain is there. So through the research we have done, we found out, and it probably will share that sentiment and feeling, the key barriers we still see in the women-led or women entrepreneurship development, and it goes beyond the country borders. It's basically the same challenges the women are facing everywhere, I would say. And this is first the fear of personal economical, deterioration if the business fails, and that can impact the family, the personal kind of financial stance, and that's a big fear. And we all, as responsible people who are responsible for their families, for their kids, of course, that's something very important to address. Another barrier is the lack of basic expertise. It's lack of knowledge in commercial part, in marketing part, in digital payment instrument part, in e-commerce part. So that's something also that needs to be addressed. The next one is the fear of losing this, what we call work-life balance. That's your kind of engagement with the business may be detrimental to your family responsibilities. A few more things which women cite when they speak of the barriers that hold them from going into entrepreneurship is issues or problems with getting access to finance. That's a big one. And also, sometimes, it's even the sentiment that you're kind of alone over there, that the whole world is against you and you don't have the community that could help you, support you, inspire you, move you, sometimes push you. So these are the barriers that are most widely cited by women that we've interviewed during the research. And so addressing these barriers, as I said, basically means establish a roadmap and a project, a plan of what should be done in order to help women overcome them.
Now, in the introduction, I spoke around the Visas She's Next program, which has been a strong champion of in this country and across the region. Could you perhaps summarize some of the ambition and intention of the program, some of the learnings that you've taken, and perhaps some of the future plans?
Happy to, because it's something I'm personally so passionate about. As Kunsulu mentioned, I must say, I've never did a day in entrepreneurship. I've been always with the corporate world. But as much as I was helped and supported by my bosses, by women in the corporate world, I understand how important it is for women to support each other, to make right things in the entrepreneurship world. So, coupled with that, Visa is proud to be supporting female entrepreneurship at a global level. And to kind of answer these barriers, to address these barriers that I just mentioned, we have established a global initiative which we call She's Next, empowered by Visa. And this initiative is being spread across our countries, across our regions we work at, and specifically in Kazakhstan. In Kazakhstan, we are now, as we speak basically, we're working on launching the fourth wave of She's Next initiative. And I would like to mention, before I go into a few specifics of it, I must say how appreciative and grateful we are to our partners here in Kazakhstan, without which this project couldn't have happened. And let me say that She's Next, powered by Visa, is supported by the Ministry of National Economy of Kazakhstan, is supported by Halyk Bank, which is our partner, and which help us kind of to build the financial part of the program, helps us to provide access to capital to the women who participate. And I would also like to call out specifically and highlight the extremely important critical role the National Association of Female Entrepreneurship, Female Entrepreneurs, ASMAR, and dare I say personally, Aleska Simkic is playing in success of this project. Because it was only due to this successful partnership we managed to take the project, not to kind of make it happen, not just in Almaty, as you would expect, and we did it like first 2 years, but last year, specifically in partnership with ASMAR and Halyk, what we did, we took it regionally, which we believe was a breakthrough. Because obviously women entrepreneurs, I mean, there are a lot of them in Almaty and they can have access to the program, but we were so caring of addressing the needs of women in regions like this program that we have in Kazakhstan, One Village, One Product, so we can bring the program closer to them. And we did this Visa, She's Next Day support by Visa in 8 cities. Regional cities of Kazakhstan, where we had 16,500 of women registering to the platform and participating in the educational part of it that we had, where we tried to provide all the knowledge that we can share on these topics that were cited as hindering problems. Then we had registration of the project, that women were submitting their registration. It was a public vote, it was an expert review, and then 12 finalists that we selected together with ASMAR as well. 12 finalists came to Almaty, where we had a final pitch, we had winners, and it was amazing experience for these women going through the project, gaining the knowledge, gaining the mentorship, gaining monies, grants, and gaining support and integration. I'm really thankful to Asmar and to Khalid for that support, that we can continue to share this success for the next year, and we're happy to be able to continue with this program, which we believe makes an impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cristina. I think you touched on a really important point there, that the greatest impact can be achieved when the private sector and the public sector come together and partner on initiatives and bring the unique skills that different organizations bring across the board, which also gives a very good opportunity to be able to switch the conversation and introduce Aleska. Aleska, thank you so much for joining us again today. The European Union has obviously been a really important partner in Kazakhstan's development over the years. And I know women's economic empowerment and entrepreneurship are areas which you are passionate about. Could you talk a little on your perspective on the topics which we're here to discuss today?
Thank you very much, and really happy to be here. Even though I have to immediately start by saying that I feel completely incompetent to be here, because I think each and every one of the women who is sitting in the audience today could actually sit on the panel. I will just note one particular person that is sitting here in the panel. I'm so impressed. Is Mr. Maleva. So I think that just some of it I have to specifically note here. Because I know that all the men, most of the men, I saw some are sitting in the session with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, whereas there are several women that are sitting here. So I really appreciate all of you being here, because I think, and here I would say, start with my personal mission here. Yes, I'm a female ambassador, one of 11 currently ambassadors out of 70 in Kazakhstan. And I think not only female ambassadors, also male ambassadors are very much in favor of the empowerment of women in business. We are seeing such a great potential of Kazakhstan. It's one of its growing populations, which is what we are envying in the European Union, because I heard it was actually Yazat who said that maybe I'm stealing your point, but until 2030, 30% of people in Kazakhstan will be under the age of 30, which is something that we, if you look at it from the European perspective, seriously. And out of these people, 50% of there will be women. So one has to look into the potential of women. And again, I'm preaching to the choir, I'm 100% sure. I saw how many hands were raised. So the thing is that, of course, all of us here are exactly this. So I will not talk about the challenges which Cristina has so nicely outlined, as well as Zakarya. So I think that I will not go there. What I wanted to perhaps say, what we can do. I mean, European Union has projects. We have projects where we would like to get more women into sectors such as IT, into sectors such as green, because there's a big percentage of SMEs are being, or relatively big, I think we're talking about 48% of SMEs are being women-led, but these are usually the lower profit, lower income sectors. So having them in high income sectors, which for the IT, in the green, we are now having a problem with this called stand for her, which means science, technology, something else, and mathematics, is to have actually energy. Green energy is such a future, and there is such a big potential, but somehow women don't see themselves in that. Women see themselves in health and school, which is all good and well, but they should also be able, so we should encourage them to see that they have potential in such things in their future. Green, IT, as well as the things that are very traditional. I mean, that has to go from the beginning of education, and I think that's where we have to go, is when the elementary school, the girls and boys have to be told that whatever their talent is, they should just implement it. Right now, I think it's in Kazakhstan, it's in the European Union, we somehow, in our minds, even to our children, give a role. We give them immediately. Mother, you have to be a good earner to the family, somehow even unconsciously do that. Even at the sessions like this, excuse me for being a little bit cynical about it, but we are, all the time as the girls participating, there were 5 men and 1 woman, because there had to be a token woman. Now we are 6 men, and then, with all due respect, we are a token men on this panel. So I think that's whenever somebody sees the title women in the title of the session, you will see female audience. So we are already talking about this topic. I very much like Cristina's intervention. intervention, because she went into talking about what she does, not about what is the woman challenge, right? I mean, I very much like that. Of course, we spoke about her job, which is to empower women, which is important. We have to continue doing that, and I always say that that's why I sit in this panel. But I think what we have to really achieve as women, we have to participate in sessions or ask questions, go to the main panels and ask them. There was this one memo that I saw, which is unacceptable in the current society. There was one topic on, I think it was something very geopolitical, and there were only 6 men sitting on the panel. So this is unacceptable in European panels. That will never happen in the EU anymore, and if it does, people don't participate. Even men don't participate anymore. So sorry for being so passionate about it, but I do think that when we have such sessions that when we want to empower women, we also have to speak to others who may be having different plans. But to go back to the entrepreneurship, there is such great potential in Kazakhstan. Great education society, great educated society, such an impact, such an emphasis that the president and the government is giving on education, and that's where we have to start. Elementary education, boys, girls, you all have different talents. Maybe a boy will be a nurse. So what? I mean, it's all perfectly fine. And a girl will be an IT technologist. We in Europe have the same challenge. At the same moment. So I think that's where we have to start, and that's our responsibility as, and I'm speaking to the majority of it as women, to actually go out there and say such message. I can talk about access to finance because all of these are challenges. I can talk about work-life balance, big challenges, but I think they were very, very eloquently already addressed with the speakers each one. So I wanted to express my passion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I both love the passion and love the opportunity.